Hello and welcome to the Aaron Russos podcast. It's up late version. It's midnight, which is very late for me because I've been living in Queensland, but now I'm down in Victoria, which has daylight saving. So it's really 1 o'clock in the morning. I just wanted to explain to you what I've been doing. For the last few months, I've been biohacking, and I've been doing it for the last 7.5 years, really. But this latest version is next level. Can you imagine what I've done? Is I'm back on a strict vegan diet. I'm not organic 100% with the food because I'm in a new place, haven't had access to it. Or found, done my research and all the rest of it to try and get onto that organic train. But I've got organic natural eucalyptus washing detergent that I made, deodorant, natural toothpaste. So just not with the food. I've given up all sugar drinks, all processed food, all high sugars, lolly, you know what I mean? Anything that's just not, just over processed, all that sort of stuff. So I'm really just eating just fruit and vegetables, quite a lot of fruit, which is keeping me regular, which is fantastic. Last year in June, I gave up smoking cigarettes. On and off marijuana, but I got off it again this year. Haven't had any CBD as well. For anyone that has experienced that, it's not that bad. It's probably the best thing for you if you get the right one. Decarboxylated, Pfizer C1 receptor. We make CBD in our body, in our bone marrow, each and every one of us. That's why we can accept that. I don't drink alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol this year. Gave up cigarettes last year, marijuana. What else is bad that you can do? What else can you get addicted to that affects your chemicals and hijacks your dopamine loops and stuff? Social media. While I've been implanting some stuff on social media, I made a conscious effort about 6 months ago. Well, nearly for the whole year I've been off and just been getting on spasmodically to do a few things. But that's a real head clearer, that one. Getting off the confusion station. TV was, I'm off mainstream, news and all that sort of stuff. Doesn't interest me at all. It's funny, last week, I think it was, I woke up on Sunday morning for some reason. I was like, you haven't checked the news or done any of that stuff for ages. And I just had this feeling it's something, I don't know why. Checked in, and that was when that Sydney Jewish massacre thing, or people were killed and stuff, which isn't very nice. So the fear, I guess, from all the news and the loops, and I just haven't really got into it. I don't really give a shit. I used to spend a lot of time on YouTube. I haven't been doing that lately either. Been doing a lot of riding, a lot of walking, a lot of thinking. So there's no, if I feel, funnily enough, if I feel like sugar and stuff, like I do, crave things, I usually just let my body tell me. I don't eat breakfast, lunch and dinner in a traditional sense. I eat when I'm hungry. So some days I wake up and I'm ravenous. Some days I wake up like today, woke up late, didn't even really want a coffee, had a coffee late, had a couple of coffees late. And I ended up eating my first thing today about 4:30. And then tonight I felt like something sweet. And so I just got stuck into some blueberries, apricots, I had a banana and some pistachios. I love nuts. So really, you know what I mean? I'm not having all these high, intense, big rushes of sugar or big this and intensity of that. And I'm not on a roller coaster. I'm quite balanced. I've never been in this state before in my whole life. Okay, so I've never been in a state where I'm not addicted to anything. Pretty much the free will decisions and things that I make now are based on what I want. Everything seems to be a little bit, I do get really, I do appreciate and, how would I say it? I appreciate, like quality fruit and vegetables. I have recognized that maybe I eat sometimes just because I'm addicted to food. My stomach is making that rumbling, not because it needs the food, just because I'm addicted to that food and we're used to it and we've got into these comfortable patterns of eating and stuff like that. So I find that if I get into, if I give in to that stomach, going, give me food, I eat and I don't, to be honest, the food doesn't taste as good. So the food doesn't taste as good when I'm eating it. And it gets to a point where I don't, might be 3/4 of the way through it and go, Whereas if I go through that craving or whatever you call it, and I go to a I guess if I go through it, maybe have a little bit of water or something, and I wait till I'm really, really hungry like today, it ended up being like 4 o'clock or something. While I was sort of cooking these burgers, I had some, just a couple of dried apricots. And when I got the dried apricots, no, I'm only talking about 4 or 5. So I'm not talking about, I used to eat packets of Tim Tams in one sitting. You know what I mean? This is the difference. Stone, fucking just blocks of chocolate, the whole lot. Now a block of vegan chocolate lasts me a week. I'll have a line or a couple of pieces just to sort of crave, feed the craving. But so tonight I waited till 4:30, had those few apricots, didn't overdo it with the snacking, because in the past I used to get scoffed the bread or something and get full and then don't eat the main meal properly. So that I made some vegan chicken burgers with like rocket and vegan mayo and crumb sort of mushroom numbers, and they tasted amazing. You know what I mean? Like that moreish. I wanted more. I had one, had another one. And so with the meals I have 250ml can, I think it is, or 200ml kombucha. Sometimes I have prebiotic, sometimes I have probiotic, depending on the way the system's feeling. And yeah, so by making, isn't it funny? The hungrier you are, the better the food tastes, and the more you think it's more, and whereas if I had that same food, when I wasn't hungry or that hungry, it wouldn't have hit the spot. So it's pretty boring, not being addicted to anything when you've been doing that your whole life, whether it be cigarettes, alcohol. I just don't get any enjoyment out of those things anymore. It's obviously your whole life. All these things that I'm talking about that I've given up is, the collective. As I said, like if you want to, you know what I mean? If you don't want to be part of the system that is this world, there's no alternative. It's there every day in front of you. I'm still sitting in the same world. I'm still sitting in the same place. I'm still in the same place you are. I'm just not partaking in any of it. I'm not lining up at McDonald's. I'm not going to I'm cooking and preparing my own meals every day. Yeah, if I need a little treat like I did today, I'll go to the fish and chip shop and buy a small chips. Not today, yesterday. And put it in bread with Nutlex and have some bread butties and some pickled onions. So yeah, that's the extent of it. It's not, it's really all about what you do all the time, not what you do some of the time. But yeah, just what a strange place to be in. And so trying to work out now what's going to, just all of those. I feel great. No, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I think I've said I might have been writing it in the book the other day. I was driving down here and you're on the road. I've got heaps of fresh fruit and things in the esky. Must be getting tired. Sorry, I'm yawning. And it's hard to when you've been doing something for years, all your life. And I had to stop and get petrol, and there was a Bain Marie there with potato cakes, and I was like, dude, they're vegan. And he's like, I said, you got a box? Show me the box it came in. And they were potato starch, battered, no milk or eggs, said soy. So I thought, oh, that's vegan. So I had some now. I didn't ask for salt. And this is my thing lately. I've been, the other day I went to the shopping centre and I had a potato cake and I was like, dude, give us a couple of those, but don't put salt, especially if it's chicken salt. I got my own salt in the car. Because this time at the petrol station, he put chicken salt on it. Anyway, I was like, you know what? It's probably got no chicken in it anyway. It's just a flavouring. But because I've been eating natural, and because I've got no chemicals running through my system, on my system, around my system, rubbed on my system, washed in my system, would you believe that that chicken salt on 2 potato cakes affected me like a synthetic chemical drug would? Threw me out a bit. Tasted terrible. My system, allergic reaction sort of thing. I could feel it, and then obviously I was like, fuck, grab a kombucha, throw it over the top, still wouldn't go away. And I was like, fuck, normally you could get a Coca-Cola or something like that, would just kill it. So even, and I liken it to the time when I healed myself originally in 2018. I was going along and I was taking my medication every second day. And I got to day 8 on this program. And this one was like organic everything, aligning, grounding, frequency, water therapy. This was a real strict do's and don'ts, not very different to what I'm doing now, just with the organic food as well. And on day 8, I took my medicine and it's never tasted so bitter, just the tablets. They went down into my stomach. I swallowed them all the way down. And they hit, and by the time they hit the stomach lining, boom, they were back up again. And I did this a few times because I was like, oh, what's happening? This is weird. And my body rejected the medicine on day 8, and I never took it again. And this is the medicine. I went to the doctor 4 months before, and he said, you have to take, Pfizer recommends that you take this, he did his research, for the rest of your life. And that's what made me angry to want to heal myself. Well, not really, I didn't want to heal myself. I wanted to get off the medication or come down off it so I wasn't such a zombie. The rest was a mistake or whatever you want to say. So when we're in a different state, an elevated state of optimum, you've got to remember that the body is a natural body. It's by natural medicine, nature, everything, you know what I mean? It all makes sense. And here we are, just turning it into this cesspool, dysfunctional intensity, chemicals, bombarding it, and our baseline health is so low, and we call that low state normal. And that's why I've got the greatest discovery so far, but it's not really, it's funny, I wrote somewhere today, isn't it funny when all this comes out and sort of because at the moment it's specialist knowledge, there's only a few people that know about it. Most people that know about it are all the mental health organisations, all the Harvard Medical School, CIA, the Australian government, the American government, you know what I mean? It's media, mainstream media knows about it, all these people, and even things like when I met with board members from the Black Dog Institute, when they go, yeah, we have no doubt that it works, but good luck. They know that, yeah, they know. Good luck. That sort of makes them a little bit, isn't that a crazy world we live in? 7 years ago, I go to the, board directors, some of the biggest mental health institutions, not only here in Australia, but NAMI in America. Dr. Duckworth, Kenneth Duckworth. And all these people know there's 300 million people that have their own medication, that have what I have, a very low quality of life, that are really struggling from day to day, that there's a nutrition rate, a lot of them take their life, and it's just not a very nice thing to deal with, to be honest. You get up and, your ears are popping and you're clammy and your heart beats and it mimics, it's all this chemical dysfunction. It's misfiring and not firing and firing the wrong set of chemicals. and it mimics all these really serious health conditions as well. You know, every time I went to the hospital, one time I presented at least 12 times in 1 month to emergency, and the first thing they do is a CAT scan, because it mimics heart attack. It's the same, you have these excruciating tight chest pains that you can't relieve. They don't go away. And so there's 300 million people with this in excruciating pain, pretty much no quality of life, not wanting to be here on the planet. And the people that are in positions of power to help them said, good luck. Good luck with that. They said, you've got no chance at all of going up against what you're going up against. It's pretty sad. So I got really angry that no one wanted to know. And so you know what I did? Being stubborn, and I was still, I healed myself with that, but I still had a lot of other fears and wounds and traumas and insecurities for other things. You know what I did? You're going to love this. I went back to the drawing board. I went back and went, okay, the same process I did to heal myself, right? So the first part of it was, you have to know what causes something before you can heal it. So when I start my research into what caused my anxiety, I wasn't allowed to go on to part B until I had I was confident. I was really confident that I knew that this was what was causing it. And obviously you've got to, you're like the lawyer convincing yourself of all these causes, and then them in combinations, and then this, and so you had to look at everything that a human being had been washed in, ate, been exposed to, everything that could possibly have happened to a human being going back 7,000 years, and just researching your life for your life. And then when you get it together and you go, all right, I think I've got a good idea here now. What's the first step? We'll get those top 10 things. We'll give them a toxicity level, right? We'll give them a toxicity. So we go, all right. And we'll get the top 10 and we'll take them out of your life and we'll see what happens. And if everything improves, you're definitely on a good trajectory. Then you've got to think about holistically, body, mind and soul, which I had to go and learn again, because we know a lot about the body and the physical, a little about mental, but we didn't know about, energies, frequencies, mental thought, how that side of it works, how it's all wired into the mainframe, how that affects the physical as well. And the soul part is the least known. But I can honestly say now on Earth, I don't think there's anyone that knows more about the soul, how that part works, instruction sets for it. There's no one on Earth that knows more about it than I do. Because I had to become the expert in my field, which was to heal myself. So I got really angry that no one wanted to know, and I got fucking pissed off, to be honest, because I had this whole month. You know what it's like when you're really happy or you're really giving to someone and then they fucking shit in your face? You get extra pissed off, right? So I'd been happy, you couldn't wipe the smile off my face. I thought everyone was going to be dancing in the streets, fucking it was a party time. And then slowly but surely, after the first month and the second month, the third month, I'm like, fuck. No one fucking wants to know. this is fucked. What the fuck is this world that we live in? What sort of fucking human beings don't want to help the fucking sick and vulnerable people? And there's all this fucking bullshit and guises if you fucking, oh, mate, what a fucking mess. So I got fucking pissed off. And anyone that knows me, sometimes I can get pissed off. I can't snap out of that for weeks. I'm that stubborn. And this one was the biggest piss off that I've ever fucking had in my life. It's more than anyone, someone wronging you and that, because I knew that these 300 million people were going through exactly what I went through, and I was wanting to check out. I didn't want to be here because of it. So that made me even more fucking angry. That I was willing to not become one of the most wealthiest people on the planet through this process of knowing what this specialist knowledge that could help these 300 million people. I was fucking willing to give it away for free, help anyone, show anyone, and I did. All the people that I helped, I went and moved in with them, cooked for them, bought their food, bought their stuff for no return. Because that wasn't what it was about. I was like, well, when I was sick, I just wanted someone to come in, fucking grab me and go, mate, it's emotional. It's fucking just fucked. So I thought, you fuckers, I'm going to fuck yous really good now. You fucked with me. You don't want to fucking help these people? Well, fuck you. I'm going to fucking do the same project. But I'm going to do it with the biggest problem on the earth, right? I lost my grandmother when I was 2 years old. I've got pictures, I've got stories, but everyone said she was the most beautiful, most amazing, nurturing. She loved me to pieces, and she died when I was 2 years old of cancer. And so I was like, I'm going to do cancer. And so I start researching the causes of cancer, and I find this whole fucking mess, which is design mess, design dysfunction. There's 1,000 singular studies on causes of cancer, but there's no combined causes that are put together. It's like when you go looking at this, it's like they didn't want anyone to find the answer to cancer. And I'm like, fuck, if you don't think the 300 million people were an injustice and a fucking absolute fucking joke, what do you think these other billion people with cancer are going to fucking be? So I go through the process, and from woe to go, the first time when I healed myself of chronic anxiety, I got the 14-day protocol in about 4 months, 4.5 months. With cancer, I got all the causes and came up with a reverser. It wasn't a cure. The anxiety called anxiety uninstalling, because it's a system restoring that dissolves. You're uninstalling it, setting your biology back to a reset of a default system. But because you're going back to natural, it's actually better than the way you were, not like medicine, which just waits for the symptoms to pass till you get back to normal. So the whole cancer shooting match, getting all the causes, the cancer reverser in its entirety took me, the greatest problem of our time that we have spent trillions of dollars on, and possibly have 1 million of the greatest minds that have ever walked this earth doing. And I found all that information out in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, you fucking dogs. What the fuck are you doing? Seriously. And so it's funny because when I finished those 2 weeks, I'm doing it hard, and I go back to work. I get some work, It's funny. I just need to get back to work, have a break from going down rabbit holes for 19 hours a day. And I go and work with the mate who's I'd worked for before, and he was a consultant, but he was opening his own place. And I'm making food. I'm a chef. And he's a really good chef, this guy. And anyway, there was a wood-fired oven there. And the Italian guy, the pizza guy, he goes, mate, you know, talking about your healing stuff and all that. He goes, oh, I'm going to, sorry, his cousin, Gino, goes, Michael said to Gino, he said to me, oh, look, Gino's going, we've got to go and say goodbye to Frank, my uncle, on the weekend, on the Saturday or the Friday. He's been in a coma for 5 months. He's got 4 different types of cancer, stage 4. He's out of done. The family's decided they're going to turn the machine off. Is there anything that you have done on your journey that could help him? There was 3-year-old children with a tumour on the stem of their brain that Charlie Terror wouldn't operate on. Another truck driver who he had a huge tumour in his brain cavity that had got operated on, cut out and grew back twice as big. Ladies with breast cancer, lung cancer, a mate that's dad had leukemia. Like, I'm telling you, after I did this 2 weeks, this causes and reverser, everyone in my life from that moment in 2019, one by one, all different cancers. And we're talking about the worst of the worst. These people have got, you know, from 3 days to, I think the most, maybe a couple of months diagnosis from their doctors. It's the worst of the worst. Some of them are so rare, so aggressive, so, you know, like, they're not run-of-the-mill cancer patients, right? They're the worst of the worst that have run out, no treatment, nothing is working. Traditionally, everything I do is complementary, meaning side by side with traditional. So there's no instance where they have to go drop every single thing and just do what I tell them. I'm happy just to work alongside them, because mathematically I'm changing things so that, you know, it doesn't matter. It fucking worked. Why am I explaining myself still? But it's just funny how that year they all presented to me. I was able to help them all. They're all still alive today. And that was it. I'd seen it, done it, whatever. Then they just stopped. And then I went on to other things and other bits and pieces. But the greatest problem, you know, of our generation, and it's intertwined with everything that we do on a daily basis, everything that we're thinking, everything we're exposed to, everything we're addicted to. So when I'm asking someone, because this has happened since, you know, word of mouth from those things get around, and even a couple of years ago, some people, you know, travel to come and see me and to find out what this is all about. And so some people I present and go, look, is what it is. And it sounds crazy, you know, we're addicted to the most craziest things and telephones and news and all the rest. And I said, no, you just have to do all this stuff for a reason. You know, I found out the causes and I'm trying to do a process of elimination, but I'm also trying to stop things from happening chemically that I know are going on with you, mentally that are going on, your soul, your DNA. Like, it's pretty complex because I know the system we're part of, and I know our body and holistically what it does. And I'm like, well, fucking, do you want me to fucking help you? You need to do this. There's no negotiables. They're not negotiable things. You can watch movies and happy movies, and, you know, they're creating different types of chemicals and stuff. That's it, right? Now, because of the addiction, and sometimes the addiction outweighs I don't think people are thinking straight to begin with, but it outweighs people wanting to actually heal themselves. Those people are dead. Those people don't live here anymore. These people that got so headstrong that what I'm doing wouldn't help them because they weren't able to make free will choices of their own, because they're more addicted to life and that food and that fucking phone and watching that news and doing all these things, that scared them so much to be able not to make a decision to save their own lives. They're gone. Their families are in fucking mourning. It is disgusting. Especially when you've been presented everything. And that is something that I've had to deal with and get over. It's the most emotional part of it. You know, that sort of part, back when I was still, you know, that's when I was still a little bit triggered by those things, like, because I was quite a sensitive person, but I didn't realize that the sensitivity was from different traumas and wounds and insecurities and everything that I had. So those sorts of things would make me shut down shop. Do you know what I mean? So I'd shut down shop to not help people or not share something that would save lives that I know and is totally testable and provable. If any accredited, anyone that you know in the medical world, science world, professors or whatever, that if they were willing to actually want to heal something, which it's not in any of their interest because it just automatically puts them out of business, puts cancer out of business. It's big, you know, they just can't even see a world without it. And neither can you. You're all humanly conditioned to that as well. If I'll tell you, I've told many a story of people I can have pre-programmed conditioning of what you're going to say if I tell you certain things that humanity is just not ready for or never been exposed to before. And one of them is cancer. I can say, would you like to know the causes of cancer? Would you believe more than 50% of people say no? The thing that could save their life, so none of their families could ever have cancer again, and they just say no. Flat out, straight away. What sort of a fucking world is it we're living in, seriously? So I got fucking mega pissed off. I fucking solved the greatest fucking problem of our time. I fucking do it in record time. I get a whole year of every fucking worst case possible scenario of cancer to work with and prove to myself more than anything else that what I worked out was fucking on the money, spot on. You're a fucking unbelievable human being. And then I go out there again like I did with the fucking anxiety cure. No one wants to know again. Except for this time, people that I'm talking to, I'm not talking about organisations and stuff, are like, well, you want to be careful, mate, they'll whack you. And would you believe that maybe, I was going to say 1,000, maybe at least a couple of hundred people have said that to me. So that's also conditioning, and that's an automatic programmed response of the fear that's been indoctrinated into all of you, into the collective, about anyone that comes up with a cure, you know. So that's the way they sort of put a safety net around it to say, look, we're fucking controlling the medical, we're controlling the studies, we're controlling the trials, we've got control of it. We haven't got control of these fucking wild cards out there like Aaron. But if he fucking comes up to it, we'll just we'll put, you know, he'll be so scared that he's going to lose his life. Is it worth losing my life over 1 million people surviving of cancer? It's not the only thing that's out there. There's a lot more. But anyway, and so I had to go through things, and I did. I got scared at one stage. I was like, fuck. I would rather, you know, I thought I'd rather, you know, be there for my family, for this, for the other. I've got no fucking family left anyway now, so. But anyway, I got to a point where I just grew some testicles and went, nah, fuck you. I'm doing the right thing. Surely I'm working with the fucking, I also understand the energy of God, the creator of the universe, his how it all works. And I'm like, I'm fucking with this guy. Surely that can't be the story. You know what I mean? The guy that created the whole universe. Look, I understand the end game for the planet, the humans, evolution, where we're going, how we evolve and all the rest of it, and what the end game is. And I know we get spiritual bang for buck, and, you know, I know the way it works. And I'm like, no. And now, you know, last week I was doing the same thing. I was doing a numerology reading for this guy, and I was going through the healing. And he's like, fuck, you better be careful, they ain't fucking whacking. I went, dude, they don't have to whack me. All you fucking dumb cunts are all fucking brainwashed to the fucking billio. You don't want to fucking know anyway. All the people in institutions are all bought or controlled or fucking completely manipulated and scared to step outside. So they don't have to whack me, mate. And what's, you know, what they want is they want me to, obviously I've got through the fear stage, and now they're like, well, you know what? If he jumps up and down, gets frustrated, goes crazy, whatever it looks like, I'm just going to look like a crazy conspiracy theorist. No one's going to listen to me anyway. I'll probably get locked up or go fucking crazy and mad. They don't know that my background in numerology, ancient Pythagorean numerology, and natural science, physics, quantum physics, is the whole mechanics and the whole way this whole fucking universe is put together. Yeah, right down to the divinity and the blueprint of each and every one of you human beings. That's why I've done 5,500 numerology charts, which is just a positive and negative analysis of characteristics of a person, where they, you know, act in certain situations. Some of the energies in natural skills, talents and abilities. Some things are voids, holes, ways that, you know, could be challenges, speed humps, life lessons. And then holistically, how it all weaves through it, how human conditioning is added to it, how your free will is put in there. You know, no one's got that sort of fucking information. I'm the first one to ever heal anything in human history. Well, who knows? There could have been other people and they've just got fucking too scared. But I'm going to be the first human in history to ever heal anything with a planned thing. The one that got cancer, healed cancer. The first person, even you'd think that the fucking Catholic or the Roman Church or all these, you know, religious groups around the world that have been operating for thousands of years, you'd think they'd be the first one that proved to you with the undeniable proof of God that you can test yourself. I got that as well. Pretty amazing. Number one fucking numerologist on the planet. There's no other mathematician that can mathematically work out things that I can work out on the planet. Fucking pretty amazing. Pretty amazing sort of fella. And I get from the establishments, good luck with that. I've got a letter from the Prime Minister's office, or the manager of fucking, what do you call it, health and aging or some shit, suicide prevention. You know what they said? Thank you for your work with chronic anxiety. So I've given them everything. They send me a letter. Thank you for your work with Australians with chronic anxiety. We really, thank you for doing the work that you're doing. In Australia, we have primary health networks, which we give autonomy to make programs and protocols at low to no cost. We advise that you contact these thingos. So the not just the government, the American government, the NAMI, the biggest mental health institution in the world in Washington, all these places have got the answer to the very problem, the very things that they've been working on their whole lives. They've got them now and they won't release them. The government has got everything. Now, I'm sure if their family got sick or they got the problem themselves, now they have the answer. The royal family doesn't, obviously. But then again, who knows what story you see and hear? You wouldn't know what the fuck, that's why they've created what they've done with propaganda, with the mainstream media and all the rest of it. It's all about control. But, at the end of the day, I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm pretty proud of myself, what I've been able to do. Because everyone's on their own little journey. You know what it's like when you've been trying to achieve something. I did it when I was doing my license, right? Because I had this other health condition for 20 years that no doctor and everything could work out in 20 years. And I got a kinesiologist to clear it when I was about 25, 26. So and I drove a car when I was 17, drunk. Wasn't allowed to get my license for you, but I had this health condition, so I couldn't drive. So anyway, I'm 29, and my son's going to be born, and I took it upon myself to go and learn how to drive, have lessons, the father-in-law, and then I eventually get to the test and the day, and I failed. I started crying, and the guy said, "What's the matter?" I said, "Oh, look, this is on a Friday," and he said, "I said my son's going to be born on the weekend. Could come any minute, and he's already 7 days overdue. And I really wanted to pick him up from the hospital." And the guy just fucking scrapped up the piece of paper, threw it in the bin. He goes, "All right, let's go and do it again." And I passed it. And it was like, wow, what an achievement. When emotion just takes over. And so the rest of the time in my life, to be able to go through what I've been through, not only with that sort of healing, but transmute a lot of other things that most of you will never do in your lifetime, those fears, insecurities, people that have wronged you, forgiving them, not for them, but for you, just lots and lots of things. And then to actually come out the other side and see what you've achieved when you thought that all of your life was pretty much a failure, when I was sensitive and triggered and thing, I'd go from one thing to the other, and I was just like a rolling stone that gathered no moss and became, no connection, couldn't gather wealth, couldn't do a lot of things. And so to be able to achieve things now, to go from the bottom to the person that knows and has done things that none of the 8 billion other people on earth could do, means a lot to me. I'm extremely proud of myself. And I'm extremely proud that I've kept my values and integrity all the way through, uncorruptible, doing what's best for humanity, for all of humanity, regardless of any personal things that, I could have done or been or whatever. I've done the right thing, and that's why I was given this opportunity, because I understand now the creator of the universe does not give things to people that aren't of pure heart, aren't of childhood innocence. There's a certain energy about them, certain chemicals also that are released that that mean you have to be trusted when no one's looking. You have to absolutely be uncorruptible, and that in itself makes me of impeccable character. And I'm not saying I was always like that when I was younger, and drinking, I did things I wasn't proud of, and you never trust anyone that's had a perfect life. I would rather someone say they fucked up and they did this and they did that when they were younger, but they learnt from it. But seriously, fucking amazing. And it's really gonna, I think the overwhelming of emotions and stuff for that sort of stuff, and it's going to be unbearable when all of this stuff comes out and you actually know what I've done and what sacrifices I've made for all of you. And because there's over 1.5 billion people that could, possibly 2 billion people that could benefit from me standing strong and finding out this stuff, quality of life and actual life itself, and everyone knows someone that's like over a quarter of the actual population of the earth, and that means that's going to help someone that you know, someone that you love, someone that you care for, and so that in itself is going to be seen as one of the biggest achievements in history, and that when I come out of the dark, when this is revealed, you're all going to just see how pretty cool it is. That's all I wanted to get on and say. Nothing much. Have a good one.